Up until the end of February, the Poco F1 was deemed as being the best value for money smartphone on the market. Enter the Note 7 Pro, which is possibly an even more lucrative deal, especially in terms of camera. However, specs are one thing and real life performance is another. So we decided to compare the cameras on both these phones. This is Sandeep from Rev Atlas, and here's the camera comparison between the Note 7 Pro and the Poco F1. This video is brought to you by Zest Money. Visit zestmoney.in and avail instant loans to buy your favorite smartphone. It's an entirely digital process with high approval rates, seamless EMI payments, and even zero pre-closure charges. But the best part of all is the 0% interest on most merchants, and you don't even need a credit card or a credit score either. The Poco F1 uses a 12MP f1.9 1.4 micron pixel size Sony IMX363 1x2.55 inch sensor. There's also a 5MP depth sensor. The Redmi Note 7 Pro has a bigger half-inch 48MP Sony IMX586 sensor along with a 5MP f2.4 depth sensor. It has f1.79 aperture and 0.8 micron pixel size, but the quad Bayer array combines information from 4 different pixels into one, thus giving 1.6 micron pixel size. Sharpness and detailing are higher on the Note 7 Pro by default compared to the Poco F1, and shooting in 48MP mode makes it slightly better in that respect at the cost of slightly higher noise. Dynamic range is better on the Note 7 Pro by default owing to the larger sensor as well as brighter aperture. HDR mode brings things closer, but there's a slight color cast on the Poco F1 shots, especially under bright sunlight. Night mode also helps in such situations by increasing the contrast, but in some scenarios it overdoes the contrast, especially on the Poco F1, and gives very eerie looking images. Portrait mode is better on the Note 7 Pro. Weirdly, it seems like after the updates, the Poco F1 has gotten worse in terms of depth sensing and edge detection, as it totally missed several portions, as you can see in these samples. The blurring is perhaps even more linear and natural looking on the Poco F1, but the missed patches with lack of blurring make it bad overall. Sharpness is also lower on the portion in focus, and edge detection too isn't good on the Poco F1. In low light, the difference between the two is even more apparent, as the Note 7 Pro manages to hold on to detail and sharpness better even without much noise. In extreme low light situations, both the phones end up bumping the ISO way too high without reason, so it's best to use the night mode and get better results. Here too, the Note 7 Pro is the winner. The Poco F1 has a front-facing 20MP camera with 0.9 micron pixel size and f2 aperture, while you get a 13MP f2 aperture unit on the Note 7 Pro. Despite what the specifications might suggest, and myself thinking otherwise, there's not a whole lot of difference between both the phones, both in terms of sharpness and detail. Even when you pixel peep, they are about the same, and the colors and processing are also very similar. The only slight thing is that the Note 7 Pro shots seem to have a slightly higher noise than Poco F1, but then again it's not very noticeable unless you're really looking for it. But then again, when you take photos in situations with challenging lighting conditions, the Note 7 Pro does better and has a more capable HDR mode as well. The Poco F1 for some reason has some weird fog-like effect with washed out colors and lack of contrast due to harsh sunlight falling on it, which the Note 7 Pro doesn't have. In terms of portrait mode as well, they are very similar and there isn't much of a difference between the two. The edge detection is on point and sharpness on the subject is retained well while giving a good look to the background blur. In terms of video, both these phones can capture 4K 30fps without EIS or 1080p 30fps with EIS. When comparing the Full HD footage, you'll see that the Poco F1 has much better colors and contrast, while the Note 7 Pro videos are warm comparatively. The same observations are carried over to the 4K videos as well, and while they aren't as smooth as the 1080p videos due to lack of EIS, they have much better detail and bit rates. Front-facing camera videos are similar too and get capped at 1080p 30fps without EIS, but the audio is much better on the Poco F1. This is the front-facing camera on the Redmi Note 7 Pro capturing 1080p video at 30fps. Let me know what you guys think about the overall sharpness, the dynamic range, how well it's picking up my voice, and how the stabilization is as well. This is a front-facing camera on the Poco F1 capturing 1080p video at 30fps. Let me know what you guys think about the overall sharpness, the dynamic range, how well it's picking up my voice, and even how the stabilization is. In terms of slow motion, the Note 7 Pro is capped at 120fps in either 720 or 1080p mode, while the Poco F1 can do 120fps 1080p, 240fps 720p, and also 960fps for a short duration. Overall, it seems like Xiaomi has managed to outdo themselves. The Poco F1 had a pretty good camera setup at the price point, but these results show that the Note 7 Pro is even more capable at an even more lower price point, and even in terms of front camera. Video is definitely better on the Poco F1, but that's about it. Everything else seems to be better on the Note 7 Pro and should get even better with updates. If you're looking for a phone that's good for photos, then Note 7 Pro seems like a great deal even compared to the Poco F1. Thanks for watching this video. We'll be bringing more content on Note 7 Pro soon, including a camera comparison with Note 6 Pro and a surprise camera comparison as well, so do stay tuned for that. Please do subscribe to our channel and share our video if you liked it. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next one. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure you visit zestmoney.in and avail instant loans to purchase your dream products, be it a smartphone, electronics, furniture, and more across Flipkart, Amazon, and more than 100 other partners.